Welcome, everybody, to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. Corey is joining me today once again.
Hello.
How is everybody doing out there? How are you doing, Corey?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks. How are you?
I am fantastic. Well, not fantastic, because we had to watch Cruel Intentions,
Yes,
and I am dedicated to this show,
you are.
and
We're in it to win it.
I am. And when we set the movies that we're going to review, I watched them. I tried not to take notes,
Right.
just so that we can have a good conversation and not get too off the rails.
Sure.
But I will say, for this movie, for Cruel Intentions, I watched it an unhealthy amount of times.
Oh my God. And that's just multiple hours of Sarah Michelle Gellar or Gellar just and
that's
you
that's what
by yourself.
that's what Sarah Michelle Gellar does to me.
Oh my God. You now did you light candles for you in your hands?
No, it was
Maybe pour a nice little wine?
no
Some champagne,
some,
perhaps?
some champagne. No, it was a violent evening for me.
Yeah.
Um,
You put on a
let's
little guar and just went crazy on yourself?
let's get into the movie. This is obviously unrelated to Cruel Intentions, but
No, it is very related to Cruel Intentions.
let's just say it's very unrelated to Cruel Intentions, and we'll just leave it at that.
It's not escaping anybody that it's your right hand. Just FYI.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about the IMDb description of this movie, and let's
I
get
am
into
far more interested in speaking with your physician,
it.
the attending physician last night at the ER. I need to know details on this that you will not give me. But until I get to talk to him or her, I'll read you IMDb.
Perfect.
Because you took one for the team. You get a YouTube Purple Heart.
I dig it.
Or a Pornhub Purple Heart, whichever award ceremony comes first, you're getting it. Cruel Intentions, 1999. Two vicious step-siblings of an elite Manhattan prep school make a wager to deflower the new headmaster's daughter before the start of term. Starring the aforementioned Sarah Michelle Gellar. Look, he just did it again. Broke the other phone just by me saying her name. Reese Witherspoon, Ryan Felipe, Selma Blair, Christine Baranski. Good list of 90s people in this movie.
Joshua Jackson?
Yeah, Joshua Jackson
Come
has a
on
great
now.
role.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all the Pacey fans in the world. Mobby.
I'm not one of them, but sure.
Oh, yeah, you are. You were very upset I did not mention Josh Jackson's name there.
Well, I'm also a huge fan of another Josh Jackson movie, Skulls, which
Yes,
I think at some point we'll uncover that one.
I think we'll have to. Very important.
My my first impression, and what I think this movie should be called, because that's actually one of the closest descriptions of a movie that I've heard.
Yes.
That at least the movies we've done so far. I would submit for a rename for this movie, just called Rich White People Problems.
Yeah, I think that's fair. This movie, it could definitely be called White People Shit, because it is so effed up in every way possible.
This is basically like 99. We were still dealing with dial-up internet, so this was as close to porn as we could get in the late 90s. That we didn't have to leave the store with like the blacked out bag. Like,
correct. If you, and I'm sure you remember. I'm sure this is when something snapped in your hand. But Selma Blair and Sarah Michelle Gellar kissing in this movie was huge.
I was going to say that was big news when
Yeah.
this movie came out, which 20 years later, it seems really odd that
It seems ridiculous that anybody would give a shit.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was the fact that it was two high-profile actresses. Like
Yes.
no, like nobody had seen anything like that before. So yeah, I mean, again, 20 years later, who cares? But during this whole thing, it was a big deal. But let's dive into the movie. Um, so the whole plot of this again, very original idea, I guess. But it's
It's not.
basically
It's a remake of Dangerous Liaisons. This
so,
movie has been remade and reformed since the start of time. There is zero original about this, other than this is the first movie I remember where a stepsister bets her butthole over over her brother deflowering another woman.
okay. Let's let's start with that.
That's
And
that's what happens.
that's where the originality comes from. It's a stepbrother and stepsister, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan Felipe. They are step siblings. His dad apparently is a rich, affluent guy, married her mother,
Yep.
who's apparently just a whore, according to Ryan Felipe,
Yes.
for lack of a better term.
Yes. And Ryan
Um,
Felipe's dad is impotent and yet diddling the maid as well.
Yes, I appreciated that line. That was pretty
Yes.
cool. I don't think Sarah Michelle Gellar knows what impotent, or the writers know what impotent means, but we'll move on from there. So they basically bet he gets upset about some article in like 17 magazine or whatever the hell the magazine is that
Yes.
he reads, that some girl has the audacity to say, "Oh, I'm gonna wait till marriage to have sex."
Yes.
And this really gets under Ryan Felipe's skin,
He's livid.
which it wasn't 17 magazine. What magazine was it? Do you remember?
It was something like
Yeah.
17 or
So
like Teen Vogue or some shit.
that was my first question, that he was reading that magazine.
Yeah.
But whatever. But this
He was reading
upsets
the
him.
article about 10 ways to be a better lover, and he just happened upon the Virgin article.
Exactly. So he gets, and by all accounts, both Ryan Felipe and Sarah Michelle Gellar are just both whores in this movie. They screw everybody. Um, and Sarah Michelle Gellar is so upset because she has to be the princess and the smiley face and the good girl. So she's like, now I'm just gonna be a whore. So
Dude,
that's
that was the most ridiculous anti-feminist wannabe feminist rants I have ever heard in my life. Like, what are you saying? And by the way, that rant, her Gloria Steinem moment, was in response to Ryan Felipe saying, "You realize we're about to ruin Selma Blair's life.
yeah,
Like we're going to completely wreck her." It had nothing to do with Reese Witherspoon and their bet. This was about a personal vendetta Sarah Michelle Gellar had. And Ryan Felipe, for a second, goes, this might seem to be a little much.
yeah. Well,
And Sarah Michelle goes, no, I'm a woman and I like to fuck and blah, blah, blah. What does that have to do with anything?
Don't slut shame me. Now I'm gonna ruin these people's lives.
Right?
Hold my beer.
You know what it reminds me of? In Eddie Murphy Delirious, when his friends go, don't go to Texas. And he goes to Texas, gets off the plane, goes, can a black man have a suitcase? Goes, what's this guy's fucking problem? That's what I would have been like. That Sarah Michelle Gellar just goes off for no reason.
Yep, absolutely.
No reason.
But they go into they have the bet that he can't have sex with Reese Witherspoon's character, and Ryan Felipe falls in love, and literally in the one good line that Sarah Michelle Gellar had in the thing, and she was like, "Oh, you found love in like 3 days." Like literally, he was with her for a week, and he was like, "I'm changed. You've changed all my perceptions about life and love, and now I'm questioning everything."
And it was because she did this.
Which
on a car ride.
Was that not the most like weird, awkward scene? I'm not a huge Reese Witherspoon fan, like as far as her as an actress. But
why?
But did you say why?
I know. I said, "Oh, I am."
Oh, okay. But that scene solidified it for me. I'm like, oh, this is why I don't like her. It's from literally from 20 years ago, in this stupid scene. You made a couple of dumb faces, and he's like, "Oh, well, she made me laugh, and now I changed
Right.
my whole perception about everything."
I went
Fuck
from
out of here.
fucking Ted Bundy to Smithers.
So they make the bet. So basically, Sarah Michelle Gellar says, "I'll drive your car," which is a sweet ride, by the way.
It is.
If you lose, I get your car. If you win, you get to put it anywhere. Oh, okay. That's your bet.
Let me just say this, and I don't mean to belittle any part of Sarah Michelle Gellar or any other woman out there. No woman's butthole is worth the price of that car. I'm gonna keep the car.
No,
I'm just saying. That
he
car's what, 20, 30, 50, $60,000 car?
that car.
Yeah.
That car's got to be worth way more than that. You're looking at
I'm not paying
100.
that to have anal sex with anyone for anything ever. Period.
Yeah, that car.
Sorry.
And again, I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like that's my, you know, she's in my top 5. Again, the car was better, way better.
Yeah. Sorry.
In my estimation. And listen, you know, the whole stepbrother stepsister thing was really weird. Like,
That's a very polite way to describe it.
and at the time, and again, when this movie came out, I don't remember feeling like it was weird, like as weird as I do now. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, because when it came out, we were just like, "Holy shit!
Well, that's
what
the
is
thing.
this?"
It was just a shocking movie in general when it came
Yeah,
out. But now I watch it and I'm like, ew.
just immediately, ew.
Like, okay, cool. But yeah, so there's several different plots in this movie. So the one plot is to have sex with Reese Witherspoon. She makes funny faces and he falls in love. The other is Sarah Michelle Gellar's ex-boyfriend broke up with her so that he could date Selma Blair. Like, I know for men we call them, you know, you're a man child. That's basically what Selma Blair's character is. She's a woman child.
No, she's 14 years old.
Is she 14 in the movie?
She's 14 years old in this movie.
Why
That's
did
what
they?
she's supposed to be because
Why
she
did they
is
cast?
going 8th grade to freshman year.
Oh shit, that's right. I didn't
Now
even.
she may have been 20 when she did the movie.
I was gonna say, why did they cast a 25-year-old to play a 14-year-old?
Because you can't. A real 14-year-old can't make out with anybody on camera. I don't give a shit if it's Sarah Michelle
Well,
Gellar or who would be.
You can cast like an 18-year-old in that role. I mean,
Probably.
not that Selma Blair looked 40, but she didn't look 14. I'll tell you that. So yeah, I don't know how old. They're obviously not seniors yet, so this isn't like a Varsity
They're going
Blues.
into their senior year.
Yeah, this isn't like a Varsity Blues statutory rape situation. We're verging on that. That's
Well, you're right. Even if it's not statutory, there's enough actual rape that occurs in the movie.
yes. Like,
But let's go back. Let's go back a second before we get into that, because
Okay.
Your description of the secondary plot, where Sarah Michelle Gellar wants to get back at her ex-boyfriend for dumping her,
yes.
because that's part of her big feminist speech is guys like Court get to fuck whoever they want,
Yeah.
and they're patted on the back. Selma Blair, they're talking. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Selma Blair are talking in the park. And she says, "Oh, I heard you went out with Court Stevens or whatever waspy name he had." And she said, "Yeah, he was okay, I guess. They went out one time."
Yes.
She states numerous times that she is in love with her cello teacher,
Yes.
Ronald. Right?
Yes.
She has no interest in Court. Sarah Michelle Gellar is mad at Court. She's not mad at Selma Blair. Why did they continue to wreck this little girl's life?
That I don't know.
Yeah, Court gets to do, and she even makes Court gets to fuck whoever he wants and get away with. Yeah, because you're taking it out on a 14-year-old girl. Use
And
your
by the
dirty powers on Court. He
and,
did that.
and speaking of which, the one scene where they actually show Court or whatever the hell his name is, he looks like he's 35.
Yeah, and
Like
passes out whilst getting a blowjob.
getting a blowjob.
Yes.
But yeah, like that whole plot is, I know it's a secondary thing, but like it's so out there and like I don't know. It was just it
The
was just
whole,
weird.
and then, and this is why I kind of wanted to go back to the whole Selma Blair of the situation, because she is the first one who is legitimately, like, there's a sexual assault case
Yeah.
happening, whether he's 14, 16, 17, 18, 34. He gets her shit faced on Long Island iced teas, starts manipulating her with the photographs because that's his move, and then basically tells her while she's shit faced that either I'm call your mother to come and pick you up, who will be mad because you got drunk, or I get to kiss you down by the subscribe button.
Yes.
I don't think that's okay. Ever.
No,
Like that's
no,
sexual assault.
Probably not. Probably
That's
not.
sexual assault.
You can,
Period.
One can make a case for that.
What many are.
This
Many
whole,
are right now, in fact, making a case on that very thing.
This whole movie is like sexual assault after sexual assault. Guy, girl, it doesn't even matter. Like, I'm pretty sure Sarah Michelle Gellar sexually assaults Ronald, which is Sean Patrick Thomas in this movie.
Yes.
Several times.
Several times. And the next day at lunch, Ryan Felipe, he's having lunch with Reese Witherspoon, his aunt, and Selma Blair is there because why not?
Yeah.
And he's taunting her after he raped her. He's like massaging his fucking tennis racket, licking his lips, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, you really are Ted Bundy. Like, this is the Chronicles of Ted, the prequel.
Oh my god, dude! That scene,
astounding.
That scene, I watched it and I was like, oh. Like, one thing that you did it, now you're taunting. Like,
yeah,
just sure. I guess we'll suspend disbelief that she didn't call the cops.
She has the natural reaction to literally spit food out of her mouth and run away.
Yes.
And the other women around the table go, she's odd.
That's Reese Witherspoon.
No, she's traumatized.
That was odd.
That was odd.
Oh my god.
That little girl is peculiar.
Yeah, this whole thing just front to back, and then, there was like, here's the thing, you watch a movie and there's a twist at the end and you're like, wow, I didn't see that one coming. Yeah. Like there was like 6 twists at the end of this movie where you're like, oh, Sarah Michelle Gellar she's just fucked up. Like, she's a sociopath.
Oh yeah, she's nuts.
You knew that they were both sociopaths to begin the movie, just in the intros and that kind of thing. But like at the end, you're like, oh, like she should go to jail. Like,
oh yeah,
that's basically what happens, because she guilts Ryan Felipe's character into going to see Reese Witherspoon and breaking it off because she's threatening that she'll expose him and yada yada yada.
Right.
Then when he gets back and he did break up with her and he's like, oh, I want to cash in on my bet. Where's that booty, young lady? And then she's like, yeah, well, I may have basically forced you to do that and I manipulated you. I win. Ha ha ha. Whatever. So then he's trying to hook back up with her, with Reese Witherspoon. And then she calls Ronald into the situation and tells him everything about the Selma Blair character. And then they just have a fight in the middle of the street in New York City.
Yeah, Ronald gets pissed and decides he's going to go kick the shit out of Ryan Felipe.
Yeah. Which, if you're Ronald in this movie, like there's the one scene where they both invite him to give him the letter that
Yeah.
quote Selma Blair's character wrote, but she didn't.
Yes.
Um, and in that scene, his face, his body language, and I think he even says like, "These fucking people are weird."
Yeah.
Like that's so. How would you be able to trust anything that any of them say to get pissed off enough to attack another dude in the middle of the street?
Right.
And
Right.
of course, Reese Witherspoon falls into traffic because she's trying to break it up for some strange reason. And then Ryan Felipe pushes her out of the way, and he dies.
He gets hit by a taxi cab. And
Yes.
this is the one thing I noticed about it. And I get it. It's a stuntman and, Dangerous Liaisons. The movie was written well before this came out, so he
Yeah.
kind of had to die. But the way he gets hit by that cab, he's got a fucked up shoulder. Basically, like one whole side of his body got tore up.
Yeah.
He's not dying.
Well, I mean,
I'm sorry, he's not dying.
head trauma. I don't know.
No part of his head hit anything.
Well, now you're just
It should have bounced.
now you're just nitpicking.
Hey, let me see gray matter. I went this far. I made it. An hour and 58 minutes through this shit. The last 2 minutes should be me staring at his shitty gray matter.
You're nitpicking. You're nitpicking now. Come on.
I am. I'm just saying. He could have lived. He could have lived. He didn't have to die. It was like that was like, and again, I get it. It's a remake. He always dies in all of these movies.
Yeah.
But they could have made it, in my opinion, where, he could have redeemed himself and, I don't know, not died. Because nobody wins.
Yeah. Well,
that's like even Reese Witherspoon wins because she gets a hot ass car.
Well, that was gonna be
nobody wins.
That was gonna be my question at the end of this movie. She's driving away in his car like she stole that shit.
Oh, that's exactly what I said.
It's not
but you would accuse me of nitpicking, so I didn't want to say that.
But it's not like, Ryan Felipe's dad was like, "Oh, I found out because they're never in the movie because they're somewhere the entire movie. I found out that he found true love with you and was changing his ways. So here, have his car that he bet his stepsister that he could have sex with you." Whatever.
Maybe that was the choice they gave her. You can have his stepsister's butthole or the car. That was what you were bet on.
They gave her the
you
whole
get a
bet.
chance.
They gave her the whole...
It's like a Price is Right situation. Which package would you like? Which showcase package would you like?
She was in the Cruel Intentions Showcase Showdown.
She made her and Selma Blair.
So that was the one thing.
Probably in jail.
Yeah, no kidding. And at the very end, Reese Witherspoon has the great idea to put one more twist into the 47 twists that were in the end of the movie, and publish Ryan Felipe's journal,
his diary,
and apparently give it to the whole class. And they had the funeral at the school.
It looked like it was more of like a memorial service, but still,
I guess. And then Sarah Michelle Gellar's giving the eulogy because she would be the one to give him the eulogy.
Yep.
Sure. And then she just sees people just leaving, and goes outside, and everybody's staring with very like, no. What I'm reading is bad, and you're no.
Meanwhile, this is a journal that not only outs Sarah Michelle Gellar, but slut shames every woman he's banged in that school, which is every woman in that school.
Yes.
And the movie starts with him slut shaming Tara Reid, who is his psychologist's daughter.
Yes.
By putting her naked pictures up on the internet.
Yep.
Because nobody got in trouble for that back in the day.
No, that was just and the mom psychologist, like, what did you do? Like, it's all your fault.
Yes.
Great psychologist. She's great, just
How could
beautiful
you
at
be
her
so
job.
stupid?
Thanks, mom.
Yeah, goddamn.
But yeah, all in all, the only cool thing I got out of this, like besides the car
And your broken hand.
and my broken hand, was the cocaine necklace ring thing that she
Yeah,
had.
that was pretty cool.
Like that
If they
was
remade it today, it'd be filled with crushed Adderall. But
whatever.
yeah, Coke's not as popular as it was back then.
Yeah, exactly. That was the drug of choice for the rich white people with
Yes.
problems.
For
So
years, for ages, it was just cocaine.
now we just take Adderall and talk really fast.
What do you mean we?
Well, I'm not rich.
You're not rich.
But yeah, so all in all, this movie was kind of, stands the test of time, doesn't stand the test of time. It doesn't really hold up, man. It doesn't hold up at all.
No.
It's still, in Nicolas Cage's words, it's still very naughty, naughty.
It's not compelling, but it is naughty.
It is naughty.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it. It was naughty, not compelling. But the whole stepbrother stepsister thing is still really really weird. Like,
Yeah. No, it's still really kind of incestual.
yeah,
Uh,
it was just a weird dynamic to throw into the movie.
my
Like,
takeaway, yeah, my takeaway from this movie is sort of similar to the rest of them. Like, the actors did fine with their parts. They acted okay.
yeah, I
Ryan
didn't.
Felipe was the only part who I thought was a little weird, and that was because every time he tried to be intense or smoldering, he over-articulated every word that came out of his mouth, and it looked like this, and it was really weird.
And to that point, when he tried to be like the Eddie Haskell kind of innocent,
Yeah.
he went too far the other way. Like, are you a 10-year-old boy or
Right.
like? So yeah, I totally agree with that.
And again, as I do with most of it, or most of these movies, just some of the writing and the choices that were made,
Yeah.
it's just, especially like by standing the test of time. Like, dude, Christine Baranski, who plays Selma Blair's mother in this,
Yes.
their housekeeper's name is literally Margarita. Not Marguerite, not Marjorie, nothing. It's Margarita.
Yes.
Reese Witherspoon, when Ryan Felipe goes, "Why can't we be together?" She says, "I don't trust myself with you." Homeboy, let me tell you something. That is the ultimate blow off line.
Yeah.
Okay?
Exactly.
That is the 1999 version of New Phone Who Dis.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want anything to do with you, bro.
I can't trust myself with that. And
And
she said it multiple times.
oh, and so sincere, like, I just can't trust myself with you.
Exactly.
And then but she keeps saying this, and she's supposed to be this very enlightened, very bright young woman. Her
Yeah.
article was published in 17 or Teen Vogue or whatever.
Whatever.
And he says the way he gets over on her is he says, "You're a hypocrite because you're afraid to let love you're afraid to let love in. You're looking at love and you won't let it in."
Yeah.
And then she goes, "Well, I can't come up with a better argument," and starts unbuttoning her blouse. It's like,
You know what? You're totally right. Let's do
Yeah.
this.
like, shit, I am a hypocrite. Is that all it took to shame somebody into sex?
I guess.
Is this nice guy thing, let me tell you, didn't close a lot of ass like Ryan Felipe's asshole thing works.
Yeah, the nice guy routine. No.
Yeah, yeah. Turns out women really don't care about what year Shakespeare wrote Hamlet.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know what? Screw it. I'm taking all my hate out on this. Cruel Intentions sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
If you can avoid the Me Too of the whole thing, then you might find it entertaining. I would highly suggest just going and watching like a lighter version of this, which would be,
Oh,
She's All That.
I was gonna say all you would have to do is just go to Cinemax at like 11 o'clock at night, and there you go. Cruel Intentions,
Watch
yay!
the actual soft porn version of this.
I mean,
That was the other thing that always, especially when I was a kid, not so much now because, I'm an old man and they're all children in this movie. But when I was a kid, I wondered, this is rated R, and there is an awful lot of filthy sex talk for absolutely no nudity, except for Ryan Felipe's ass, which I was cool with never seeing.
yeah, no, I was cool with that too. Well, and you got to figure though, Sarah Michelle Gellar at the time, Reese Witherspoon, Selma Blair, like they
Oh,
they were big actresses at the time.
yeah.
Like, and at that time, there was no big actress booby like that.
No.
There was none of that. We'll have none of that. But yeah, like Ryan Felipe is like, oh, you want me to show my ass? Sweet, cool. Where do
I'm cool with that. By the way, for 17 or 18 years old, what he must have been packing was amazing because when they show his butt, he turns around full frontal to Reese Witherspoon and it's just like, could you turn around so I can put on my bathing suit? Like, bro, at that age, you are that proud of what you're packing? Good for you, dude. Good for you.
Well, on that note, I think we'll we can end this whole Cruel Intentions talk. Um, do you have any idea what IMDb had this movie?
6.8 out of 10.
6.8.
Yeah.
One of the higher rated movies that we've
Yeah.
done so far. Um, I'd say a 6, but whatever. On a scale of 1 to 10, on a scale of filth, I'd give it a 10.
A 10. A fucking 10.
So, but yeah, that's all I got for this. You got anything else for this one?
Man, I got nothing other than like, subscribe, comment on what we want to do next,
Yes.
please, because especially October's coming up, like in a week or two, and we are about to get very, very horror movie with this, and not the kind of horror movie that we just watched.
No,
Cruel Intentions.
that's a hooer movie.
Hooah.
We're getting into horror.
Horror.
But yeah,
Kinda
we're
articulate like Ryan Felipe.
exactly. I'm very excited for the horror movies. But yeah, if you want us to cover a movie, yeah, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff.
Do it.
For Corey, I'm Armando. I don't even know what side you're on anymore. I think you're over there, but whatever. For Corey, I'm Armando. Thanks for watching Kiss the Reviews. We'll see you with the next show.